Hong Kong Direct is your weekly racing wrap with news, views, previews, special guests and interviews as well. Coming up on the show today, we look back on the Sa Ladies Purse, a dramatic race that went ultimately to Southern legends Alberto Sanna and Casper Founds. But the man who finished in second place there, Alexis Badel, is our special studio guest, seen there winning on Wishful Thinker for Richard Gibson last season. And the January Cup, of course, simply brilliant last season as well. Very warm welcome to the show. I'm Andrew Lejeune. I say special welcome to our special guest, Alexis Badel, back in Hong Kong, which must feel, Alexis, you've only been back a week, but a home away from home really for you now.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so happy to be back in Hong Kong. It's always the same feeling when you just land and get out of the plane. It's just something different.
We'll get into this a little bit more detail a little bit later on through the course of the show, but it's been quite a big year for you in a number of different ways, both on and off the track. You had the fall, you've had a good season in the saddle, but the fall, and then some very special personal news for you just recently.
Yeah, but the fall is already forgotten. So no, I've done a good season in France. I just arrived in Hong Kong with 76 winners, and I miss quite a lot of months in France. So yeah, I did a good score, and I'm happy with that. And I also had a baby 2 weeks ago.
This is your first?
Yeah.
Pretty special.
Pretty special.
How long are you with us for as well, Alexis? You had 10 winners in your short stint last year. When are you planning on staying?
Last season I had 10 winners, yeah, but it was a good season for me. I won a lot of consistent races, and I've got a lot of support from different trainers. I just had a nasty fall in Happy Valley after the Group 3,
yes,
which cost me a wrist, and of course 2 weeks off, which is important in Hong Kong.
All right, we'll come back and talk about that in a little bit more detail. But Alexis' first day in the saddle was Sa Ladies Purse Day. He was riding the defending champion as well in the front running and free rolling time walk.
From the lows of a broken hip to the highs of winning his first group race at Sha Tin, it's fair to say Italian jockey Alberto Sanna has had a roller coaster career in Hong Kong to date. Sunday's victory on Southern Legend in the Group 3 Sa Ladies Purse also ended a domestic win drought for Casper Founds' consistent galloper. The 7-year-old gelding's two most recent victories had been in the Kranji Mile in Singapore, but this triumph was his first here since March last year.
Southern Legend and Time Walk, they're in a real battle here. Southern Legend trying to lay up on Time Walk, gets his nose in front. Southern Legend from Time Walk.
Yes, finally, after a long time, is my first winner here. Big winner here. Southern Legend is a lovely horse, and I start to know him in the last two starts, and today everything, a part of the barrier, which wasn't kind draw, so we need to work it out how to ride him, and yeah, I have to say thank you to the trainer.
We've seen his biggest wins being over the 1,600 metres in Singapore, but he's been Group 1 placed over 2,000 metres. From your experience, what do you think his best distance is, especially with the international races coming up?
I don't know, I have to discuss with the trainer, and let's see what is his plan. And both races, they will be very tough, 16 or 2,000 metres.
The Ladies' Purse may not have been the only race with potential HKIR clues. John Moore's sprinter, Thanks Forever, lived up to his promise in the Class 2 1,200 metres event and could also take his chances at Group 1 glory on the 8th of December.
Thanks Forever broke away. Mr. Lumiere, Fat Turtle and California Whiplate, but Thanks Forever, thanks for coming.
Take it one step at a time. Look, he was very impressive today. The clock says that. Like I say, he's only lightly raced around the bend, so he can only keep improving. So, you know, he's going to have to take another step forward, but, you know, given that he gets a nice draw and a nice run in transit, I don't see why any reason he can't run a fast time again.
The final event on the card was built up as an early appetizer for next year's 4-year-old Classic Series, with 4 runners in the race eyeing off spots in the prestigious series. And it was More Than This who brought up a hat-trick of wins in a most impressive manner.
Wider out More Than This has been some type of performance, and Nakoni Express, More Than This swept to the lead from Nakoni Express and Happy Fun. More Than This wins again.
The coming weeks are important as the build-up continues towards the second Sunday in December. The best in Hong Kong will complete their final preparations under race conditions in the Jockey Club races a week on Sunday, while it won't be long before the selected international runners are announced for the greatest show on turf.
Yeah, the second Sunday in December. Of course, it's been reported this week that Armour and I might be making the trip out, which would be fantastic. Before we get into talking about the ladies' purse, probably have to pay tribute to Casper Fans. Takes up another feature race, knocked off Beauty Generation a week or so ago. Southern Legend gets the job done there. Alexis, getting past you in the closing stages. One thing that came out after the race, there's a lot of the jockeys in behind you saying race wasn't one to suit, they weren't going quick enough. But you broke the track record. How did it feel? You were the one setting the pace. How did it feel from your perspective?
I don't know if we have made the record after the gate or in the straight, but the whole field thought we were going slow because all the jockeys were behind were not they didn't have any comfort, so I thought we were walking.
Yeah, but you felt comfortable on time warp.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I didn't push him after the gate. I used the wide gate to take my time just to come across the rail. I didn't push him a lot, I just trying to save as much as energy as I could.
Yeah, well, we can see it now, and he's a big, lumbering horse, isn't he? But he obviously covers some ground as well. He's happiest out in front. You can see Alberto's obviously got a plan as well, wants to get in behind you too. The first split was reasonably quick, the second one 22.20, but then the clock says that you slowed it up a little bit, going 23.71, but you can see horses in behind. Furore's keen, Singapore Sling was keen as well, but you're riding your own race and you're obviously very happy with how he is. Yeah,
of course, and the horse keeps fighting very well into the line, so he didn't stop really, so he did a very good straight, and maybe Alberto rode a very good race just to follow me, and his horse he's a good horse too. Yeah,
and he's had 2 runs under his belt as well. Exultant, super run from him. In third, the defending champion, Sacred Capital, the raider from Macau. But yeah, Time Warp is given his all there. Do you still think the fight, because he won the Cup on International Day 2 years ago, he was third in the race last year. He sort of slid down the ratings a little bit, but the fire still feels like it's burning, does it, for him?
Yeah, and this time he was looking fresh and happy, I think if he can control a race, he will be hard to beat.
Yeah, that seems to be the key for him and his brother Glorious forever as well. We saw as part of that package, Alexis, there's a couple of big weekends coming up. We've got the main trials for International Day, the sprint, the Cup, and the mile as well. Have you really locked in some rides for that day?
Well, I'm supposed to ride 3 of these races. Simply Brilliant in the mile.
Who you won the January Cup on last year?
Exactly, yeah. And also in the sprint, Little Giant and Ho Ho Can.
Both for David Hall?
Yeah.
2 good pickup rides. Zach Purton's normally on Little Giant, but he's got a few options this year, hasn't he? So,
yes, probably.
Nice rides to pick up all the same. All right, that's the Jockey Club trial races. They come up in 2 weeks' time. We're going to be talking to Alexis more about this weekend as well, and his rides coming up, and a little bit about the year in France as well. As we head off to a break then, we continue our countdown to HKIR, looking at some of the heroes from years gone by. Welcome back to Hong Kong Direct. Alexis Badel, special studio guest, still with us. We'll be looking at the Panasonic Cup, which is the feature race on the weekend very shortly, Alexis, which you ride for John Size. Let's talk about the season gone by. Since we last saw you here in Hong Kong, we'll start with the season itself, which was going very well for you. Plenty of winners.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Of course. I've done a very good season. I've got a lot of support from different trainers, and which is very important. And I also changed my agent because, as you know, in Europe you need an agent, and so I have a pretty good team around me.
Were you riding solely in France, or did you do much travelling around Europe? Were you riding in the UK at all while you were back?
Yeah, sometimes, but mostly in France because we have races almost every day, so it keeps you very busy.
And how do you find that Hong Kong racing is viewed in France? Were people aware of what you'd done while you'd been away?
Yes, because I gave a pretty good descriptions about Hong Kong to my friends, and I think they will try to come.
Well, that was the good side of things. It obviously took a turn with that really nasty fall that you had. Do you have, in the first instance, I suppose, what are your memories? Is there a point where you don't remember? Is there sort of like a black zone where you just sort of blacked out, or do you remember the whole incident itself?
No, I remember everything. I haven't lost conscious during that time, so I just got up. I said, okay, something's wrong, but I'm okay, I'm alive, no problem. So that's it. It's a bit suffering, but that's all.
I know some people can look at things like that. They'll watch them back and see what gone wrong. Have you looked at the fall again, or it happened and you sort of...
No, I did.
You look back.
I did many times. I can do it again, no problem.
Right.
That's it. That's the jockey life.
Yeah. Quite extraordinary. So what was the process after that in terms of the injury, the recovery, and how long it took to get back?
I had a fracture from the face, so I had to do surgery 1 week after. So the surgery was, I guess, quite easy for the surgeon.
Yeah.
And that's it. I had to wait to come back, and that's it. I feel okay.
You're very nonchalant about the whole thing, but no complications. You've still got the plate.
The stone plate. Yes, I have it.
You set off the alarms when you went through the airport and all those.
I think I will keep it.
Just as a souvenir.
I came to the airport, and in the ring, the bell has ring. I don't know if it's the shoes or the plate.
There you go.
That's it.
That was the pain side of things, but the pleasure, of course, welcoming a baby girl in, Eva, and it's Rebecca. They're both doing well?
Yeah, very well. Very well, thank you.
It's quite an experience, isn't it? That's your first child?
Yeah, it changed everything, you know. That's fantastic. That's normal. I'm just live a dream.
Yeah, but you've had to leave them a week basically after Rebecca was born, and come here. So that in itself is quite tough.
I had to leave France after 1 week. She had 1 week, so
but they'll come and join you soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, excellent stuff. And now you're here, you're off to a fly. We'll look at your rides on the weekend, which you got 10, a full book coming up this weekend. You had good rides on Sunday, no like at Happy Valley midweek, but you've obviously just sort of slipped back into the old routine, and everyone seems to be happy to have you back. Well, the trainers, not about the other jockeys, but the trainers.
Yes, of course. No, you know, it's just a bit easier for me to work on the races and to ask for the good rides now, because I'm in Hong Kong. You know, in France it's not easy to do the booking, but now it's getting easier. So I hope I can get some winners.
Yeah, the stats in Hong Kong, sometimes you look at them and think, oh, that's quite low, but it's a different sort of beast riding here in Hong Kong, isn't it, in terms of getting the winners, as you know. They don't necessarily flow as quick as they would in Europe.
Yeah, it takes a bit of time, I guess, to find the good rides. You need also a bit of luck, but it takes a bit of time, you know. I think I did a good start. I got a lot of support from different trainers. I just keep working very hard.
All right, okay. Well, you've got 10 rides on the weekend, so you must be doing something right there. All right, so, well, the big race on the weekend is the Panasonic Cup. We can have a look at that with Alexis now in the preview. Class 1, then 1,400 metres for the Panasonic Cup, headed by the returning Champions Way. 6 from 7, the record stands at so far. Last year's Lion Rock Trophy winner, good standing down the field in the Premier Bowl behind Seasons Bloom. Nothing I Like More behind Rise High and Beauty Generation, his 2 starts so far this season. Time to celebrate another one for John Size's first up. Flying Thunder was well, below par to say the least last amount. He's been back at the trials and trialled well since. Gunnison, with the mount of Alexis, Red Warrior, the only horse to beat Champions Way so far. Another one of the size runners who got Dragon General gets up in trip. Taking Aim for John Moore's got a handful as well, and Tony Cruz trains the bottom 2, Waldorf and Beauty Spirits. Let's start off with your horse then, Alexis, in Gunnison. He's won twice so far here in Hong Kong. They've both been over the 1,200 metres. This is 1,400 metres. Of course, this is the first time you're riding him on race day, but what are the expectations for him?
I can only trust his trainer. That's all I can do. But I got a good gait with this horse, and hopefully he can settle and relax and stay on 14.
He seems pretty versatile. That was winning on the dirt, and he's won on the turf as well. He's won soft ground in Sydney, a group race before he came over. He's not very big, but he seems pretty honest. So that run behind Seasons Bloom, it was huge last time out. He's with an each-way chance maybe. Does John Size, does he bog you down with a lot of instructions when you're riding for him? Is he sort of leave it up to you?
No, it's pretty simple. You know, he's a good trainer. He knows his horses very well, so he just gives you some advices, but we just have to make it simple, you know.
Well, he of course trains the favourite for the race as well in Champions Way. He was only beaten once last season. He was a group winner on his final start. Hong Kong's most improved horse as well. I had to look back through his record, Alexis. You haven't actually ridden against Champions Way yet, but you've obviously seen him race. He does seem to be a little bit lazy sometimes in the early middle part of his race, which potentially gives his rivals an opportunity, but he's quite an exciting horse all the same. Joe Moreira will be on board. Many people already pegging him as the early Derby favourite, so it'll be interesting to see how he comes back.
Yes, definitely.
All right, so that's Champions Way. John Size has 4 in the race. Nothing I Like More, Time to Celebrate. John Moore has 3. Flying Thunder. I quite like a horse called Dragon General, though, as well. He's stepping up from the 1,000 metres here to the 1,400 metres. Mi Choi trains him. He's been ridden by the talented Mr. Responsibly, who rode a winner at Happy Valley midweek. He'll get back and he'll flash back strongly. Are you good friends with Umberto as well, Alexis?
Yeah, he's a good friend of me, and I know him since a long time. He was a jockey in France, and now he's a good guy and also a very good jockey.
All right, so let's have a look at your 10 rides that you've got lined up for the weekend. This is a fair effort in itself to get 10 rides and what is just your 3rd meeting back. Just pick out a couple for, well, King Dragon's on debut in the first. Young Glory was the last start winner. And Hong Kong Win was the last start winner. That's for John Size as well. He was very impressive at Happy Valley first up.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have a good gait. I think I am in a stand side, so which is a good advantage on this trip. And the horse was pretty impressive last time, so I hope he can give it to me something good.
General Dino is up to the 1650. He's got a good record on your weather. We talked about Gunnison. Sunshine Warrior. You might not have done all the replays for him yet. He's a bit of a handful, though, so he's been a bit wayward in that. He's clearly got ability,
yeah,
but he's a bit wayward as well.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know him yet, but...
And Super Elegance might be a chance to the second last as well?
Yeah, also a good horse. He's got a good potential, I guess, and I think 2000 is a good trip for him, so I have high expectations on him.
Just very quickly on booking rights, I know you want to dash off very shortly and start looking at Happy Valley for next week. What is the process? You already have some pre-booked rides, then it's a case of just getting on the phone once you see the entries come out and just trying to pick up as many as you can?
Yeah, you have to confirm also what you have, and sometimes you have 2 sections, so you have to try to jump on another one, and try to complete the races where you are free. So it's a hard work.
You don't have the advantage of having your agent like you do back in France. All right, well, let's have a look at what's coming up. The racing diary here in Hong Kong. It is the Panasonic Cup race number 7 on the weekend. It is a Saturday programme for us as well. So we go Saturday 12:15 for the first race, back at Happy Valley Wednesday night for the Weifeng Centenary Bowl, and then we have those trial races, the Sprint, the Mile and the Cup. And again, Alex, just confirming, so you ride Little Giants, Simply Brilliance and Ho Ho Khan in those 3 races.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah, okay, so far. All right, those all for David Hall. So good to be back, and just onwards and upwards from here, I suppose.
Thank you.
All right, well, great to have you as part of the show today, Alexi, and good luck on the weekend, certainly with Gunnison and the other runners as well. We're going to leave you this week looking back on last year's race, in actual fact. It was a grandstand finish going to Rassan for Chad Schofield and Richard Gibson. Of course, went on to Sprint Cup glory towards the end of the season. That's the show. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll catch you again on Saturday for the Panasonic Cup. We'll bring you all the action from Hong Kong direct to you.
Little Giant a length and a half away, is beyond midfield, followed by Simply Brilliant. There's 2 lengths away to Joyful Trinity. Then came Fight Hero and Dr. Jeff last of all as they race off the back. Over towards the 800 metres. Conti from his wide stall. He got to the outside of Wame Friend, and they're the first 2. A length away, third More Than Lucky. Sliding around the outside from New Asia Sunrise, California Whip has camped on the outside of Calculation. A length away, Ratton, followed by Jolly Banner. What Else But You, Simply Brilliant. He's got a lot of work in front of him, as too does the favourite Little Giant as they square up for the run home. Fight Hero came next, followed by Dr. Jeff and Joyful Trinity. Conti swept to the lead now, but in tow is More Than Lucky. They've shaken off Wame Friend. Ratton's coming with a run, as too is What Else But You. Little Giant down the outside. Conti, More Than Lucky. Here comes What Else But You and Ratton. Little Giant down the outside. Ratton on the outside. Little Giant, Conti still there. Ratton, Conti, Little Giant. Ratton has won the Panasonic Cup.